Good morning, everybody. How are you? Happy Tuesday. I hope that you're doing well in your part of the world. It seems like the fall weather is coming upon us, at least for those of us in the northern hemisphere. I know I do get viewers from all around the world. So maybe for some of you, it's not quite the beginning of fall, but out here, it's just turning out to be a beautiful change in the weather. I live in the desert, so when it's fall like this, it starts to cool down quite a bit, and I'm really enjoying that. So I hope that you're well. I hope that your families are well, and I'm really excited that we get to have more time together. And I just know we're going to have a good stream today. So if you're new to the channel, new to watching the streams, welcome. I've been getting a lot of growth both on Instagram and on YouTube over the last week, so it's totally okay if this is your first time attending. So I always like to start off my streams with the global roll call, and that's where we have people let us know their city, state, province, country. Just let us know where you're from. Let us know where you're checking in. It's always fun to see how global the data science community is. So I'm already seeing people on Twitch. I'm seeing people on YouTube. I'm not seeing any of my Instagram folks. Let me make sure that everything there is looking good. So Instagram might just be a little bit shy this morning, but it looks like my chat programs are working as needed. You know, I have to use like multiple programs to get this little chat window over here to appear. As simple as that sounds, it was very difficult to get to work. But while I let you guys join in and introduce and let me know where you're from, I always like to start off with an opening note. Today's opening note is going to be one of the better work tips that I have received and I have given to others that people have enjoyed and have told me that it works for them. So sometimes, we're rushing around to meet a deadline or to meet multiple expectations, or we just feel like we have so much to do. And today is one of those days for me. Once I finish the stream, I have about 20 different things that I need to take care of that I've been putting to the side, but I'm going to give some attention to today. And when I'm feeling rushed like that, when I'm feeling like I have so many things to do or I need to finish something so I can move on to something else, I always remind myself the saying I tell myself is slow is fast. I just remind myself slow is fast. Because whether you're doing personal stuff or work stuff, having to redo work is expensive. It costs time for you to submit something, have it not be so great, and then people ask for revisions or for changes or whatnot. Not only does it hurt your reputation a little bit, but it also costs time. In the end, the net effect is that you're going to put out more effort for that task. So sometimes it pays to just slow down your thoughts, slow down your actions, think about what your next steps are, think about how you're going to execute them in the best way you can. And that way you're going to end up with a more quality product, a more quality result that you can then turn in. Sure, maybe you might be just a little bit later or it feels like it slows you down just a little bit, but you're gaining time in the quality of the work that you're putting in. You're gaining time in the fact that you're not going to have to do a rewrite or a rework of the same task, right? So sometimes it just pays to slow down your mind, slow yourself and think, okay, slow is fast. I'm going to be methodical about this. I'm going to slow down. I'm going to think about my next steps. I'm going to do those steps as best I can as what makes most sense to me. And then I'm going to get to a result that's still going to have a higher quality, but maybe, just a little bit slower in time. That trade-off is going to be so much more valuable than doing something that maybe isn't so great, maybe you're not so happy with, or whatever the case may be. And you certainly don't want to take the reputation hit of knowing as somebody who turns in sloppy work. Slowing it down can raise the quality of your work and kind of help you with that reputation. So I hope that helps you. Again, it's something that's worked for me. It's something that it's really helped me. So I hope it'll do the same for you. All right, we're seeing some more people coming in. Maybe even potentially seeing some new people. I'm not 100% sure. But again, if you're joining us a little bit later, that's okay. Welcome. Let me know your city, state, country, province. And then if you have any questions about data science or anything you want to discuss, feel free to put that in the chat also. If you have an article or something that you read, something that caught your eye, or something you've been wondering about, feel free to include it in the chat. Would love to hear from you, okay? I'm so thirsty this morning. I can't. I am way behind on my water consumption. I need to increase that. All right, so starting from the top, Patrick, you might have been just a little bit too early because my chat window didn't catch you on the display, but I see you in my general chat. Patrick says, good morning, gang, chiming in from Knoxville, Tennessee. Wonderful, Patrick. Hope you're doing well out there. Patrick is one of our moderators on YouTube. So, Patrick, that's weird. I don't know why the wrench isn't next to your name, but it's next to Joseph's name. That's super weird. Next, we have Joseph. Joseph is also one of our moderators. Thanks for helping out, Joseph and Patrick. Good morning, Dennis, and everyone dialing in from Tennessee as well. You know, that's crazy, right? I have followers from all over the world, yet 2 moderators ended up being from the same state. What are the odds of that? Somebody figure out the odds of that. Rex, good morning, Rex. Hi, everyone. This is Rex from New York City. Rex is a very capable moderator on Twitch. Thanks for keeping things clean over there on Twitch. You know, I'm growing on Twitch. I've managed to passively grow an audience over there, but there's always these spam messages in the chat. Twitch has been around for such a long time, and I can't believe they can't tackle the most basic of spam messages. Shows you how inaccurate some algorithms can be, huh? Eddie Kariuki says they're from Nairobi, Kenya. Nice, Eddie. Eddie, I don't think I've seen you in the chat before. If this is your first time, welcome. Let us know if it's your first time, but welcome. Glad you found the stream. Shakib says, hello, Dennis from Espoo, Finland. Nice, very cool. Shakib, I think you may have joined us once or twice before. We haven't had too many people from Finland, and I think you were our last viewer from Finland. Let me know. Let me know. Sarvesh, our good friend Sarvesh. Sarvesh, you've been attending quite regularly. Love seeing you around. Hope you're doing well. Hi, Dennis and all. Sarvesh here from Mumbai, India. Nice. Very cool. I hear Mumbai is beautiful. Mumbai is by the ocean, right? I think that's Oceanside. Yassine, our man from Morocco, says, hi, hello, sir. Yassine from Fez, Morocco. Nice, Yassine. Are you back in school now, Yassine? Or what's the deal on that? I think the Moroccan school year starts around now, right? Krunal, let us know where you're from. We'd like people to introduce themselves, and then I'll come back to your question, okay? Yassine, I'm going to come back to your comment. Thank you for that. Ravindran, our good friend Ravindran. Hello, everyone. Hey, Ravindran, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Michael, also another good friend. Michael from Lagos, Nigeria. Now, Michael, yesterday you told us it was raining quite a bit. Has the rain stopped out there in Lagos? Let us know. I'm curious. So Krunal, thank you for introducing yourself. Hello, sir. I'm from India. This is my first time. Nice, Krunal. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. So Krunal, we always start off with our global roll call. Just let people let us know where they're from, and then we go ahead and take questions. So for anyone joining late, feel free to introduce yourself. You know, nobody's going to call on you or anything. Just let us know what city you're from. It's a good way to, it's good manners to introduce yourself, right? When you first enter a room in a business setting or a professional situation, right? So, that's another reason why we do this, but also it makes everybody feel included, right? You don't have to be some amazing data scientist to participate, okay? Hita says, hello, sir. What is this about? It's about data science. So we start off with our global roll call, so feel free to introduce yourself, Hitesh, excuse me. Eddie says, been a follower for a while, first time on the live. Nice. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. You bring up a good point, Eddie. I suppose I do have a lot of followers that have never joined a live stream. I mean, that's true. I mean, I get a lot of followers who DM me with questions, and I get comments on videos. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be like a significant portion who just never really participate. Maybe they just take in the content and learn on their own or apply it in their own unique way. And that's totally okay. Everybody applies things differently. But welcome. Glad you made it. Manoj says, hello, everyone from Bangalore, India. Nice. Welcome, Manoj. I've seen you a couple times this week. Thanks for coming back. So Shakib says, yes, I've been here a few times, really enjoying the streams, and thanks for all the knowledge. Oh, you're welcome. I appreciate that. Yeah, these streams don't put themselves together. It takes work. It takes work to do this. Just to kind of give you guys some idea, for me to start a stream, I need at least a half hour. It takes me a half hour to spin up all my promos and my streaming software and my camera and all that. And then afterwards, I do about maybe like an hour and a half worth of work. I do all my downloads for my archives, and then I do my clipping, my uploads to YouTube, and then my uploads to Dropbox, and then my uploads to my scheduling software. So like, I may be on screen with you guys for like an hour and a half, but there's at least another hour and a half of work that I put in for the streams. I'm trying to think if there's any other steps I do. No, I think that's it. But it's like another hour afterwards, or hour and a half afterwards. So it's a lot. So I'm glad you're enjoying the streams. Yassine says, we haven't started yet. Usually starts in the middle of September. Oh, okay, I thought it started a little bit earlier than that, but okay, cool. Michael says, it's still raining in Nigeria. I'm tired. Okay. Yeah, I guess the rain does have that effect on people, right? It kind of wears you out. Sarvesh says Mumbai is near the Arabian Sea. Okay, I thought it was coastal. Thanks for that, Sarvesh. Roy says, Roy from NYC, a data scientist who has an interview in an hour and love creators that put data science content out there. Just wanted to drop by. Well, welcome, Roy. Thanks so much for that. So I'm assuming it's your first time, but yeah, trying to put out real world, accurate data science content. That's the goal here, right? So thanks so much for dropping by. Good luck on your interview. Feel free to come back and let us know how it went. I know that interviews it's such a wonder, right? Sometimes they go really well, sometimes they don't go so well. But we wish you good luck on it. Hope you're going to do just fine. And you know what, Roy and everybody else, one interview, it doesn't matter. It doesn't define your life. You're still going to be okay. Not every interview in the world is going to go well. You just got to do your best, right? And eventually you will find the company and the team that you kind of, where everything kind of comes together. Right? So good luck to you, Roy. But at the same time, I don't want anybody out there overly stressing or worried about any one particular interview. There's always other interviews out there, always other jobs out there, okay? And like I said before, I'm optimistic for the next year's worth of data science hiring. I think we're in for a good hiring cycle over the next year. So let's all stay positive and send Roy some good vibes for his interview. But let us know how it goes, Roy. Blue Shinigami says, first time here, saw you on Instagram. Oh, thanks so much, Blue. Yeah, like I started earlier, I've been getting a lot of growth, both on YouTube and on Instagram. So I am expecting that we are going to get some more new people joining. And also, if you are new and you want to continue the conversation, feel free to join our Discord. The Discord link is already pin message in your chats. So you can join us there if you want to keep the conversation going. Or if you want to, ask questions or talk about interesting stuff you read. Yesterday I posted an example interview question from a private equity interview. So, we're going to do things to kind of keep the conversation going, keep people talking data science. Because really, one of the reasons why I like Discord, or why I wanted a Discord, was because talking things out, putting your perspective out there, and also receiving other people's perspectives is a super important part of data science. Do not ignore that part. Data science is not done in a vacuum. You do data science by saying, hey, this is how I see things. What do you think? Oh, you see it that way? Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah, maybe I can combine that with it. That's how you do data science in the real world. Okay, you don't do it by, just staying alone in your books or in your math formulas or, watching YouTube tutorials all day. You do it by talking things out, by understanding perspectives, understanding new techniques, new approaches, how other people see the data. So the Discord is there for that. So Blue, if you want to join us there, you're welcome to do that. You want to just join us on the chats? That's okay too. So Blue, we always ask people to introduce themselves. So just let us know your city, state, country, province, and just to kind of help build fellowship in the community in the chat here. Bukan engineer, I'm going to come back to your question. Let us know the city, state, province that you're from, Bukan. We always start off with our global roll call, okay? All right, I know I skipped a couple questions, so let me come back to that. Let me just look at my... Okay, so Krunal says, for the beginners, how to start. So Krunal, I have a couple of resources out there that you can look for, but let's take a step back, okay? Let's take a step back here. The question isn't how to start. The question is, why do you want to start? Let me know. If you want to tell me in the chat, I'm curious about your motivations for it, okay? Coming up, I have a series on de-influencing data science. And one of the things that's clearly out there is that, I know that there's articles and things that talk about how great being a data scientist is and the pay and stuff like that, right? But I think that it's still not a profession that you should undertake lightly. Becoming a data scientist is a long process, right? At least at a professional level, right? It's a long process. It's not something that you take lightly. And it takes longer than what some of the other influencers out there would tell you, right? Nobody just says, oh, I'll just become a doctor. Yeah, let's try this doctor thing. Let's see if this doctor thing works out, right? Nobody says that, right? So same thing for data science. So help me understand your why. I don't want to know your how to start. I want to know your why to start. Okay? And I think that goes for some of the other folks, in the chat. If you're new or you're just kind of exploring data science, or, you just you just found my channel by coincidence, that happens too. Let me know your why. Why data science, right? I think you have to have a pretty good reason for that. Because it's not a fast road, right? It's going to take a while. So I want to understand your why, okay? And if some of the other people in the chat want to share their why, feel free to do that, right? Because maybe you'll inspire somebody else in the chat, somebody who doesn't have an answer, right? So if you're in the chat and you want to participate, let me know your why. Why are you doing data science? Not your how or things like that, but why? Like, why are you doing it? Why aren't you doing something else? Why aren't you doing software engineering? Why aren't you doing cybersecurity? Why data science? Okay. So let me know, Krunal. If you're comfortable sharing that, you may not be, but if you are, let me know in the chat. Okay. So Yassine, I'm pretty sure you're referring to my opening note. Yassine says, absolutely great advice. I've seen a quote that emphasizes this. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Yep. I've heard that quote before, and that's very similar, obviously. But yeah, sometimes you just got to slow down. And when I say slow down, I mean everything. Your mind, your actions, your approach to things. Just slow it down. Bring that quality up a little bit, right? Bring your peace of mind up a little bit also, your mental health. And that's how you're going to deliver more quality work. That's how you're going to be able to make sure that you don't make a careless mistake, right? Like, your supervisor asked for A, B, and C, but you only did A and B. You totally forgot about C. Well, if you slow down, you'll be able to catch those things a little bit better, right? So slow down your mind, slow down your actions, and it'll help. And to be frankly honest with you, I sometimes use this even when I don't have a deadline or when I'm not under pressure, because sometimes I get that adult ADD in my mind where my mind is going like 100 miles an hour, and it's like, whoa, okay. Plenty of time. Let's calm down. Let's pick step one, and then let's do step one. Just slow it down. Now, adult ADD has also served me very well. There's a lot of good things to it, but every once in a while, you got to just slow things down and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to just take my time, and I'm going to do better than I would have otherwise. I could certainly rush, but I'm risking my reputation. I'm risking the quality of my work. So don't do that. So I'm glad that resonated with you, Yassine, because I think it is a good message to just slow down. All right. Hitesh. Hitesh, I think I answered your question, right? We're basically talking about data science. So if you want to introduce yourself, great. Any data science questions? That's cool too. Let me see if I missed anybody else. Okay, I think I got everybody else. Let me go to the new messages. Bukan Engineer, did I get your introduction? Let us know where you're from, Bukan. Bukan asks, how deep should I understand statistics for data science? Bukan, you're asking a great question here. How deep should I understand statistics for data science? It's a question that's been coming up quite a bit in the chat, and that's cool. I might do some content on this later. I just haven't figured out like how to shape the content, right? Like I need to see the shape of what I'm delivering before I start working on it. So the short answer to you is that you do need to know a good amount of statistics. If you want to start off with this, if you want to start your entire data science career and study with statistics courses, pretty good idea. Pretty good idea to do it. And I say that in a partial way because that's how I did it, right? My background is in applied statistics. But there's two ways it's going to help you. One, there's things from statistics that carry over easily into data science. Hypothesis testing, right? Hypothesis testing is essentially a lot of the basis for data science. Two, Z-test and T-test. I guarantee you will use it at some point in your data science career. I mean, a Z-test in statistics is just called A/B testing in data science, right? And then the third thing is most statistics programs are going to have a course on regression methods. That's pretty common, right? I mean, most curriculums I've seen have a regression methods course, or they'll have an advanced statistics course where a good part of it is regression methods. So, and the reason I say that's important is because regression methods, it's basically, it's modeling, right? It's for most people, for most serious students, that's your first exposure to modeling. You're creating a model with regression. So for those three reasons, I think it's important, right? But on a more practical side, the other reason I think it's important is because a lot of your practical day-to-day data science work is just being able to recognize what is a data science problem and what is not a data science problem. Like just to have like that initial, go, no go decision in your data, to have that skill, you're going to be doing that like a lot in your data science career. And a lot of that is just due to the knowledge of your stakeholders, right? Because they do not know what is and what isn't a data science project. So that's going to be one of your very first filters that you and your team are going to have to do. I cannot tell you the number of times somebody has told me, oh my God, Dennis, I've got this fantastic algorithm problem for you that you can do to help our business. You got to do this for it. And then you hear them out and it's like, that's just some math you don't know. Like I can help you with that. That's just some advanced math you don't know, but here, I can do this for you, right? So like, I don't know, maybe like 85% of the stuff people approach you with, they're not data science problems, They're just advanced statistics, advanced analytics, or something else, right? So your ability to do that, super important. It'll get you talking to stakeholders. It'll get you helping the team. It'll get you, just knowing more about the business because people will approach you with all kinds of unique problems. But the ability to do that is very, very important, right? So for those two reasons, I do think that having a background in statistics is helpful, right? Because also when I tell you that 85% of the stuff isn't data science, that doesn't mean you turn them away. You can still help them. I've still done that, but to be able to have that distinction of knowing what you can and can't do, or what your team should be and should not be doing if you're working on a dedicated data science team, Super important to do that. Okay, so I hope that answers your question, Bukan. So Blue, thanks for the introduction. Hello guys, software engineer from India working remotely for Oracle Health in Kansas. Oh, okay, very cool. Very cool. So do you work remotely from home? Because I'm sure Oracle has offices in India somewhere, right? And maybe multiple offices. So let us know. Do you work from home or do you work at an Oracle office in India? But that sounds great. Oracle Health in Kansas. Nice. Very cool. Well, thanks for joining, Blue. Thank you, Joseph. Joseph has posted the roadmap to data science. That is another resource I have if you're new to data science. So Joseph, thank you for posting that. Eddie says, I am a professional artist, got into machine learning because of the rise in AI. That's how I got interested in data science. My question, is there a good application for data science in art? That's a really good question, Eddie. And by the way, thanks for that background. I love that introduction. That's a really good question, Eddie. So Eddie, yesterday, a lot of our discussion was around artists and Gen AI. And we were talking about how a lot of artists are kind of taking a little bit of taking a bit of a stance against AI, where they were introducing, what's known as these poison pixels into their work in order to help OpenAI not scan their software. I think it messes with the metadata or something like that. So it helps them avoid that. So here's the thing, right? It's going to be like a cat and mouse game for a while to come, right? Because eventually OpenAI will find a way around that. I can already think of ways around that because I've helped clients with that in the past, right? So how do you combat that, right? So what's the next iteration of artists protecting their art? So if you really want to think about it, I do think that there is a potential out there for thinking about what that next version is of protecting the art, right? So I'll share this story. I can't tell you the client. I can't tell you the nature of the pictures, but I was on a contract where we were doing a lot of data collection, and they were images, and the location of where the images were had taken some steps to prevent data collection. Web scraping, right? They had taken some steps to protect that, to protect themselves from that. And they were decent steps, right? So we had written some custom Beautiful Soup code, right? Which some of you might be familiar. If you're not, Beautiful Soup, it's what's used to commonly navigate the web and commonly used for web scraping, right? You can send it to a page and it'll take apart the web page, and then you can call the different tables and lists and things like that. So we had very advanced Beautiful Soup stuff looking at it. But the normal things of getting these pictures were not working, right? Because the website had taken fairly good protection mechanisms. So the answer that I came up with was you go to the website via Beautiful Soup, you render the HTML, and then you screenshot it. They hadn't taken the steps to prevent themselves from screenshots. You screenshot it, and then you find the dimensions of where in the HTML the picture is. Like in the whether it's a container or the div layer. You find the dimensions of the div layer, and then you crop it. You can take a screenshot and then crop it, and then that's your image, right? Because now your crop is back to an image format that you can use in other things, right? So eventually, OpenAI will start doing things like that, right? Because at that point, if you screenshot it, it's a new image, so poison pixels don't matter anymore, right? So eventually OpenAI will come up with that solution, right? Maybe they already have, right? And they wouldn't publicize that, right? So like to answer your question, Eddie, what is the next evolution for artists to protect themselves from that? I don't know. But if you come up with that, that's a product, right? You can make that into a product, like an AI product that you can sell to artists. So maybe, you know, I'm just using that as an example, right? But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you're looking at it. You know, there's other interests, and I think there are opportunities out there, right? But a lot of them are around protection from AI, not necessarily utilizing AI. Okay, it's a great question, Eddie, and glad you're on the stream. Welcome. All right, Patrick. Patrick is contributing to our question. Remember, our question right now is why do you want to do a data science? So somebody was asking earlier about the how, but what is the why? So Patrick says, I want to see the future and make an impact to become a data wizard. That's my why. Very cool. I like that too. You know, I like the whole I predict the future thing because I've thought about that too. I think how cool is it that you can use data to predict the future? I like that too, Patrick. So I get it. Shakib says some advices on work, life, and continuous professional development. Hey, that's all I do here. That's all I do here, Shakib. Hang out, you know, and hang out and ask questions and listen to some of the answers. That's all I do. My goal is to give you guys real world advice, real world data science, how it's done, right? I'm not one of these ridiculous guys who teaches nothing but math and calls it fun or one of the faceless accounts. There's a lot of those, right? I try to give you real world advice. So hang out, ask questions, and you're going to get exactly what you want. That, you know, what you wrote could be the motto for my show. Some advice on work, life, and continuous professional development. That's the slogan. That's what I do here. All right. So Joseph says, for me, I love to discover and observe patterns in nature. Yep. Being able to predict how patterns function and observe how new patterns emerge is really exciting. Yeah. Okay. I get it, Joseph. Yeah, absolutely. You're talking a little bit more of like unsupervised data, right? Like the data that could be out there that has patterns, you just don't see them right away, right? You just don't see the clusters right away. So I get it, Joseph. That's fun for me too. Rahul says, yo, Dennis. Hey, Rahul, how are you? Mohammed says, Mohammed, let us know where you're from. We always ask people to introduce themselves. What are some tips for senior students that want to pursue a career in data science? Why? Give me your why, Mohammed. Let me know in the chat. Let me know your why. I don't want to teach you the how. I want to know your why first, okay? Param says, hello guys. Hey Param, how are you? Param, let us know where you're from. I don't think that I've seen you before. I think it's your first time. Let us know where you're from. Let us know your city, state, country, please. Blue says, yep, working from home, still not used to your time zones yet. Oh yeah. Yeah, do they ask you to work American hours? Because that's gotta be crazy, especially for Kansas, right? Because right now in Kansas, it's like 10:30 in the morning, 10:35. So yeah. In India, that would be like the middle of the night, isn't it? Isn't it like the middle of the night in India right now? Like pretty late into the night? Like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., something like that? Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Surya Pratap says, let us know where you're from, Surya. Can you please suggest some resources for marketing analysis? What kind of marketing analysis? Give me some more specifics. Let me know in the chat. Give me a few more details, please, okay? All right, Param says, hello, Dennis. I'm pursuing my master's in applied modeling and analysis of big data. Cool. Congratulations. Let us know if this is your first time, Param. I'm getting a lot of new visitors on YouTube, so let me know. And we always ask people to introduce themselves. Himanshu says, what should be done after learning Python language to make a career in data science? Actually, I'm in first year. Oh, Himanshu. You don't need Python first. So I would actually encourage you to kind of take a step back and start to understand the methodology behind data science. Why do you need Python in the first place? Python is just a tool, but if you don't know how to use it, then who cares, right? I want you to start thinking about the why and the how of data science. Why would you need Python? Why would you need pandas? When would you need those? What libraries do you need in Python? In other words, what tools do you need to add to your toolbox, right? Because Python is just a single tool, but then you need to bring in other things, right? So, I mean, because what you're really asking in your question is, what is the methodology of data science? That's why you don't know where to go next, right? So you're here. I want you to be at a meta level and understand the overarching reasons. What is data science? Why are you doing data science? What is it capable of? What is it not capable of? Right? So you don't need me to tell you another thing to make a career. What you really need is you need to understand what data science is. So, I'm considering that maybe my next book will be on this, because there really is a lack of work out there on the methodology of data science. But Himanshu, that's what I would suggest to you, okay? So don't go on the YouTubes and on the influencers and all that nonsense, because they're going to tell you, oh, well, Python? You need to buy my neural networks course right here. No, this is what you need. You need to sign up for neural network. Oh, no. You need to sign up for my Azure class or my AWS class. That's what you need next. Forget all that nonsense. That's trash. You need to understand the why and the how of data science, right? That's what you're missing, Himanshu. Okay, so don't fall into anything else. Take a step back, right? Get a meta view, right? You don't know what to do next because you don't have that meta view. Okay? Figure out what is data science. Why are you doing this, right? And don't tell me because it's the sexiest job of the 21st century. Nope. You got to do it because you're building on something, okay? So Param says, are you talking about the web scraping? Most of them are preventing that, and it's very hard to get data with lazy loading on top of that. Any suggestions? No. Well, first of all, I'm not going to give you any suggestions because I'm not a big fan of web scraping. Yeah, and many of them are taking steps, but where there's a will, there's a way, right? There are still ways to get around some of those steps, right? It's always going to be a cat and mouse game, right? You're going to come up with counterattacks. They're going to counter your counterattack. You're going to counter their right? It's always going to be there. It's just moving on to the next thing. So yeah, they're taking steps, but there's ways around it. But no, I do not give advice on web scraping. To me, that's intellectual theft, right? And I can't be a scientist. I can't be teaching other people if I'm going to be doing intellectual theft. That's not me. That's not in my nature. I have a background in working in anti-piracy and things like that. So I'm not a fan of it. Joseph says, yep, yeah, Joseph. I'm sure you're referring back to the patterns in nature and like the unsupervised side of it. So yeah, I share your view there. Fact World, our good friend Fact World says, hi sir, hope you're doing great. I'm doing very well, thank you. It's a beautiful day out. I got a lot of things to do this morning, but as soon as I finish those, I'm gonna take my dog to the dog park. We're gonna hang out, maybe throw the ball a little bit, just have a good time later this afternoon. But I got a lot of work to do between now and then. AJ tells us it's 9 p.m. in India. Really? I thought it was a lot later than that. Okay, but still, it's kind of sucks to work late into the night like that. When I had my employees in India, I would kind of let them go early because I always felt bad, There's no need to keep them that late. Yeah, Rahul, 9:10 p.m. Yep. So Blue says, yep, my work goes into 3 a.m., but coworkers are cool, so it's bearable. Yeah, that's pretty late, Blue. That's pretty late for sure. Fact World asks, sir, can we do MS in quant finance or financial engineering after doing BS in data science? Sure. Sure, that's a reasonable path. Yeah, I don't want to share too much about this, for the privacy of my friend. But one of my friends recently did this. He just moved. He moved to a hedge fund, and this is exactly his background in financial engineering. So yeah, totally reasonable to do a financial engineering type of degree after a BS in data science. I think if that's what you want to follow, I think that's a reasonable path. Sure. Param says, yes, it's my first time on stream. I am from Ontario, Canada. I really like to analyze data and find some interesting patterns. Oh, very cool. Yeah, Param, welcome. I'm glad to see you here. From Ontario, Canada. Nice. And I never quite made it to Ontario. I would love to go up there sometime. I've made it to Buffalo and the Niagara Falls area, but never to Ontario. But great. Welcome. Thanks for coming. And so guys, if you're joining us late, Param here is sharing his why. We're asking people why data science, right? Not the how, not what libraries do you know, but just the why. Why are you doing data science? Let us know. So Param says, I really like to analyze data and find some interesting patterns. Yeah. Yeah, the pattern matching definitely seems to attract a lot of people, for sure. I like more of the prediction side, like Patrick mentioned earlier. But yeah, I get it. The pattern side is also interesting. Surya Pratap says, post-campaign marketing specific to email channels. Okay. That's the type of marketing analysis you're interested in. Okay. So first of all, and I'm going to say this for the new people because this is your first time watching a stream. I like to stay in my lane. If I'm not educated on something, I don't like to talk too much about it, and I'll tell you that. So I will say that I do not have too much experience with email analytics. The reason I don't have a lot of experience with email analytics is because to me, it strikes me as something very, very difficult to collect data on, right? Like, if you want to track your opens and your spam markings and things like that, I know that there's, more sophisticated ways around it. It's been a while since I looked at it. But to me, it struck me as very difficult to get reliable data from email marketing. So maybe that's changed more than I realized in the last few years. But I've never really invested a lot of time in this because I just never found a reliable way. But what I can tell you is I can tell you some experience with some of the companies that I worked for. And right now, their biggest interest is more in not just what content drove the interaction with your emails, but what happens with that interaction or that person in the 1 month after, 3 months after, 6 months after, right? Like, what does their interaction with your content indicate for the future? So at that point, it's not analytics, right? At that point, it's data science. But if you can say, we have person X, and person X clicked on our emails 10 times in the last 5 months, that's level 1, right? Level 2 is, and by the way, they only clicked on videos. They never clicked on our blog content. They only watched videos. Right? So that's level 2. Level 3 is, in fact, of the 10 videos they watched, 8 of them were our podcast. 8 were our podcast and 2 were our marketing materials, right? Okay, so now you got that. That's like 3 levels of analytics, right? So now, what does, Mr. Podcast do with that knowledge that they gain? What did they do in the following month, in the 2 months, in the 3 months? Or did that lead to more interactions, more sales, more whatever, right? So that's the types of things that companies are looking at. Again, I'm just giving you like what the roadmap was, but I've never really done a lot of a deep dive into email analytics in this way. So I hope that helps you, maybe just kind of gets your mind working a little bit, lets you understand what companies are doing. But that's how I've seen it done in the real world. Okay. Michael says, so my background is in construction, got into programming in school. I trade FX and indices, stopped for a while now. I like to predict and forecast. Nice, very cool. Does anybody make money in Forex anymore? It seems like Forex is like the toughest market to make money in. I just do options on my side. But I also do some indices, of course. But yeah, Forex seems like a hard way to make an easy living, as they say. AJ says, AJ, is this your first time attending? I don't think I've seen you. I have learned machine learning, ANN, CNN, transformers, NLP. What's next? I'm a self-taught person. What's next to get a job? I'm a fresher. Two things, AJ. One, refer to my previous answer because somebody else asked a very similar question. You don't know what the next step is because you don't know data science. You listed a bunch of tools, but you didn't list data science, right? And also, yeah, guys, I'm not trying to pick on AJ or anybody else, right? So I'm saying this generally, all right? I am always 110% suspicious of people who tell me things like I learned transformers or I learned NLP. Come on, guys. Like NLP is like an entire study that can take a lifetime to master. There are scientists out there who do nothing but NLP for their entire career, right? That's all they do. Like they dedicate themselves to language analytics and language, models, right? So somebody telling me, yes, I learned CNN, ANN, NLP. That's like saying, yeah. And by the way, I learned all of Wikipedia. Like who says that? Who says they know all of Wikipedia? Like nobody says that, right? So be very, very cautious of saying, yeah, I learned NLP, right? Like, don't be flippant about that. For somebody like me in a hiring manager position, it's going to be like, yeah, okay, sure you did. Yeah, you learned NLP, and I think you said it's your fresher year. Yeah, sure thing, freshman. NLP. Like, you're going to get blown off if you say that, okay? So be cautious around that. And also transformers, right? Like, you learned all of transformers? Seriously? Like it can take you a year just to properly train one transformer model, right? So like, really? All of transformers? So be careful. Be careful with making such broad statements, guys, okay? So take a step back, AJ, and learn why you're doing all of these. So I know that my regulars have heard this analogy before. I'm sorry, but I have to repeat it for the new people. Okay? AJ, right now, you have a very nice shiny toolbox in your garage. All the nice drawers, and it's nice and clean, and you have a bunch of wrenches in there, right? Each one of these is a wrench, right? You have your CNN wrench, you have your LSTM wrench, but you don't know how to use them. You don't know when to pick up that LSTM wrench. You don't know when to use that NLP wrench. So that's what you got to learn. You got to work on the mechanic skills, right? You're a mechanic with nice tools, but no skills. So don't confuse knowing these with skills. So I would say you're a level 0 data scientist until you know the why and the when to use those things. You'll never know what to do next. You're asking the question because you don't know the why and the when. Okay? So think about those things, all right? All right, so Mohammed is sharing more with our question of the day about why data science. Hello, my why is because I have passion in AI and data science. I have passion in AI and data science is the foundation for AI, and I'm currently a senior. Cool. Very cool. I like that. I like the mention of the word passion. Good for you. Blue says data seems to be getting saturated. I wonder if there's a new domain yet to be discovered that will be the next boom in like 10 years. I completely disagree. Completely disagree, Blue. So many other things to come. So many other things to come. Guys, mark my words on this. Write this down. I will die on this hill. Everything you're seeing with generative AI right now is very early days. We are very, very early days. Tons more to come from generative AI and AI in general. Do not blow off data in working in data science, Gen AI, all of those, machine learning. People who say that don't truly understand what's going on underneath the hood, right? So, no. This is all Act 1. It's very early in the process. Tons of more things to do with AI. So yeah, do not blow it off like that. That's, I mean, two things I see in your message. One, don't blow it off. Tons of things more to do. Two, don't chase booms. If you chase booms, you'll never be happy, right? You'll never dedicate yourself to work, to a career or to a profession, right? I mean, don't chase booms, right? I mean, because that means you're not doing things that you're passionate about, right? Like, does that mean you're just doing data because it's the current boom? I mean, that's not a good reason. I mean, because if you really want the answer, like, what's the next boom in 10 years? It's probably elderly care, right? The US, Japan, Italy, tons of countries out there have aging populations. If you want the next boom, go care for senior people. That's probably the next boom, right? Elderly care is probably going to be a big business in the next 10 years. Are you passionate about that? Do you want to do that? Like, it wouldn't make sense for you to go from data to elderly care. Like that means you're not passionate about either field, right? If you leave one so quickly and go into another one so quickly, then you're not passionate. Like, do you want to do that? Is that a life worth living? I don't know, man. So don't chase booms, do what you love. And if you love data, then there's plenty to do still in data, right? Rahul says, Michael, that makes the two of us. Yep. Predicting and forecasting is definitely fun. Rahul, I wonder if that means that you also do trading, or maybe there were other connections there. AJ, I think that's a repeat question. Casual Economist says, I just love to learn. Michael, back to school for data science. Cool. Yeah. It's good to get some formal education in data science, A lot of people don't, right? So good for you if you're looking at that. Let us know if you'd be looking at the graduate level or the undergrad level. Rahul says, I am more interested in reinforcement learning, still learning the basics, and yeah, who doesn't like to predict things? Yeah, reinforcement learning is definitely fun. We had a great discussion on that last week, Rahul. I think you were here. If not, you want to look that up because we had a really great discussion about reinforcement learning. And yeah, I think there's a lot of unexplored space in reinforcement learning. Because the thing about reinforcement learning is that it's all data driven, right? Like more data, more better when it comes to reinforcement learning. So I think that there's a lot of interesting stuff there. So I'm with you, Rahul. Very interesting stuff there. Patrick, thanks so much for catching that. I see your message. Garbett says, hello, Dennis. Hello, Garbett. How are you? Garbett, I don't think I've seen you before. Is this your first time? If it is, welcome. Let us know where you're from. We always ask people to tell us their city, state, and province. Soraya Pratat, coming back to the question about the marketing analytics, says, thank you, that is helpful. You're welcome. I hope that's helpful. Again, I like to stay in my lane, guys. I'm not going to give you bad information. I'd rather tell you I don't know than give you bad information. But that's how I've seen it done in some companies. So hopefully that gives you, just gives you brain food to think about. AJ saying, thanks a lot, sir. It's my first time on this channel. Well, welcome, AJ. Welcome. Yeah, so, take a step back. Why are you doing this? When would you do this, right? Think about those things, okay? Patrick says, this NLP discussion brings up a question in my mind. How can we benchmark our progress if saying I've learned NLP isn't a real benchmark? What is? How can we tell if we know the why and the when? Yeah, Patrick, good question. I really need to do a series on this type of content. I think that there's a couple of benchmarks I would tell you. One is, do you know enough models and enough working with those models and how to use them for testing purposes, not just modeling, right? But for testing purposes for the hyperparameter tuning that we talk a lot about on Sundays, right? Do you know enough of those models well enough and a broad enough number of them to be able to conduct a proper model search, right? Because you won't be able to really apply data science until you're doing a proper search, right? Are you guys hearing my dog? I don't know if my dog's coming across on the audio, but he's barking at something. Let me get you guys to hold on for just a bit, okay? Hey. He's very protective of me. So whenever he sees dogs outside, he loves barking. So sorry about that, guys. I don't know if that came across on the stream or not. But yeah, whenever he sees dogs outside, he gets jealous and he barks. Okay, Patrick. Sorry. Coming back to your point. Do you know how to work with enough of those models, right? Do you have enough of those models, and do you know them well enough to be tuning with them that you can work with them? And then after that, and by the way, I'm going to benchmark that at like 10 plus models, right? You should be comfortable with like 10 plus models to be able to do that. And then the second is, can you work with them at a fast enough pace, right? Because pace counts as a benchmark, right? Can you do it fast enough? So, and I say that because that was key for me too. So for some of you who have seen this content, I talk about that. I talk about how I was studying data science for like 18 months, almost 2 years. And then I was introduced to this new IBM product that was for data science. And we were given this little rinky-dink training session at IBM. But even with that short session, within 2 hours, I was able to produce something to be able to send out to my colleagues and give an analysis from a data science perspective. Right? I was able to do it within 2 hours. So to me, that was a big benchmark that I was ready. Where I was like, if I could take this brand new tool, bring in my own data, and create like a publishable analysis, like that's a pretty good sign. So that's why I'm saying that, Patrick. So I would say the number of models that you know really well and you can not just use, but run experiments with, right? There's a difference there. And run experiments with, right? And 2, can you do it fast enough? Like when somebody presents you with a problem, can you in your head quickly say, oh yeah, okay, I need to pull in this data, and then I need to write this code, and then my test harness is going to look like this, and and here's a reasonable benchmark for my errors. Yeah, okay. Like, can you do that fast enough? Right? I think that when you can put both of those things together, you've leveled up, right? When you can do those things together. So I hope that helps, Patrick. Let me know. Blue says, I'm just a normal software engineer following for the data science. Yeah, well, welcome. I just don't want you following booms, Blue. Be careful about following booms, right? You should be following your passion, not just the next big paycheck, okay? Param says, as for the real professional world, what are the things we encounter the most? I can't code a whole NLP NN model from scratch. Is it a must? Mostly professors ask us to work on the basics on portfolio. Okay, great question, Param. One, there is no single answer to this. Because who's to say you're going to be working on NLP problems, right? Who's to say you're going to be working on neural network problems? Neural networks tend to be a little bit overstated. Don't get me wrong; they're powerful, but they don't. You don't need them to solve everything. In some cases, in a lot of cases, it's overkill, right? But yeah, to answer your question, there are times when you're going to have to write a neural network from scratch. You're going to be using frameworks, but yes, you do need to know how to build your own neural networks. But what you're going to encounter the most is really just going to be on the data collection side. Data collection makes up a large amount of any algorithmic project. And I write about this in my book. If you want to check out my book, Your First Year in Data Science, I talk about these exact things, right? How do you go from the academics to the real world? And that's one of the things you're going to come across, right? Because you mentioned the professors, right? In class, the professor gives you a nice, clean data set to work from, right? A nice, clean, single data set to work from. Kaggle competitions do that too, right? But the real world is nothing like that. The real world is going to have complex data. It's going to have data from multiple sources. It's going to have data that you don't understand because it hasn't been documented. It's not always going to be in a database. It's going to be in some report that comes every 2 weeks to somebody's email box, that nobody monitors. So now you got to write code to read the email box and download that. It's like data collection in the real world is nothing like academia. So that's going to be your biggest challenge. Your biggest challenge is going to be keeping up with all of that and writing enough code to kind of make sure that you still have solid data to work from. Okay? Rahul says, I also used to work in construction. You forgot, Dennis. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that, Rahul. But yeah, it seems like you and Michael share that. Casual Economist says they want to study data science at the grad level. I have a BS in economics. Okay, very cool. Thanks for that clarification. Michael asking questions of Rahul. I love it, guys. Nothing makes me feel better than the community helping the community. So I love that. So Rex is definitely telling me that you heard Kino. Okay. Casual says, I think the dog said he doesn't enjoy data science. Yeah. He'd be a good therapy dog. Don't let the barking fool you, right? He's actually a really sweet dog. But yeah, maybe he should go into elderly care as a therapy dog. That's funny. Maybe he could support me. Start pulling his weight around here. Never has the rent payments. Garvin says, hey Dennis, I learned all the data pre-processing techniques and ML. Wow. All of them? You sure about that? You know what I need? I need one of those buttons that plays the memes or the memes, right? You know how there's that meme of that guy, you sure about that? You sure about that? That's what I need for today's chat. People are telling me that, oh, NLP, I learned that. Oh, that ML stuff, I learned that. You sure about that? I learned all the pre-processing techniques and ML. Where should I proceed from here? Purely, guys, we don't chase jobs. We don't chase jobs on this content. I am not here to promise you a job. I'm not here to do anything else other than help you become a professional in the field. That's the whole point of my content. Okay, I don't chase jobs. You should be chasing your professional skills in data science. If you can do that, then everything else will take care of itself. Okay. So, yeah, Garbage, just, and again, be careful about making broad statements about, oh, data pre-processing. I know all of that. Oh, I know everything about data pre-processing. No, you don't. Patrick says, thank you for your response, Dennis. That makes perfect sense and provides a more concrete goal to shoot for. Okay, Patrick, I hope so. You're asking good questions. Like, what are those benchmarks? They're not always clear, man. You're just not always clear. Data science is very personal in that way, right? So it's a very personal field of study, right? So I hope that helped, give you just like general parameters to think about, like, do I know 10 models? No, I don't. Better keep going. But, it's very personal, Okay. Rahul says, Rahul's replying to Michael. So again, glad to see you guys helping each other. Ahab, how are you? Ahab says, hello, Dennis. Would love to know what you think about my response to prompt in Discord. If that was an interview, would I have passed that test? Okay, Ahab, thank you so much for reminding me of that. Let me see if I can bring that up. Give me just a second, guys. Yeah. Oh, I'm in the mods chat. Let me bring up Slight Taz. Okay, so here's what Ahab's referring to. So in case you're not familiar, this is our Discord. And our Discord is becoming a great resource. We have almost 150 people, guys. We're at 145 people, which is amazing. So link is in the chats if you want to join our Discord. And people have been great about posting different analysis. Somebody posted an article that they read. And yesterday, actually, Hamad posted a funny meme. That was a good one. But yesterday, I posted a question prompt for a data scientist interview at a private equity firm. So I have 4 questions that they asked. I posted the first one yesterday. And this is, one, it's good to discuss data science, but 2, it also gives you an idea of what the exams are like. So Patrick, by the way, coming back to your question, this might also be a benchmark for you, right? And this is a real world example of what a private equity firm asks in their 3rd round. Their 3rd round is a technical interview, and this is part of it. This is one of 4 questions. So Patrick, what's your comfort level with a question like this, right? That's a pretty good benchmark too, right? So this is what Ahab is referring to. I'm posting it, not for you guys to solve it, but to get the discussion going, right? Start talking it out. Start talking out solutions. Start listening to others. Start sharing your work, right? It's very healthy to share your work, even though I know that it's intimidating for some of you. Some of you have told me that it's intimidating. So that's what Ahab's referring to. I'm posting these and having people participate and, kind of give answers, okay? So if you want to join us on Discord, please do that. You're welcome to join. So Ahab, coming back to your question, I have not replied to your prompt. And I do that intentionally. And people who have been on the Discord know this. I don't like to be the first or one of the early people to reply because I don't want to skew the conversation, right? I don't want to bias the conversation. So I will wait a few days to answer because I want other people to answer and help grow the conversation that way. Because if I answer, 1, I'll be skewing the conversation, and 2, I'm potentially killing the conversation. I don't want to do that, right? And also because, as I say, my goal is to create a resource where the community is helping the community, right? I might go on vacation. I might miss your chat. I might do some other things. So I want the community to help. It shouldn't just be reliant on me to give an answer, right? But mostly, again, I hang back because I don't want to bias the conversation. I don't want people to just say, oh yeah, Dennis is right, or to kind of drive the conversation. I'd rather have other people drive the conversation. Okay? So that's why I haven't responded. You'll see that in some of my other chats. People will post things and I may contribute, I may not. I like the conversation to be organic in that way. All right. I think that's how I help you guys best by not giving my view, but letting all of you develop your own view. Okay. So that's the answer anyhow. But I appreciate that you're a contributor on there, and eventually I chime in the conversation. Try to shape it a little bit, right? But I don't like to be the first one to shape it. Okay. All right, so Yassine, coming back to our question about why for data science. For me, I was really lost regarding what I should follow in my studies and career. I started in accounting and management, then switched to applied computer science. One day, a professor, which I really appreciate, gave us a project to establish a dashboard for a company and choosing the KPIs I think are appropriate. It was there when I found out about data analysis and data science. After that, I just knew that this is exactly what I want to do for the rest of my life. the ability to combine business concepts with the very promising power of AI and the value we can add to the world for the first time. I was willing to do things for my own pleasure and not for something like grades or anything. Cool. Very cool. I love that, Yassine. So it sounds like you were doing other things and then you were exposed to data science and then you found a lot more interesting things in here. That's awesome. I love that background. Thanks for that. Really cool to hear that. And thanks for being such a consistent participant here. I know you always come back, so that speaks to your passion, right? That not only are you saying you're passionate about it, but you're doing it. I know you participate in the Discord and you participate here, so thanks a lot for that. And you know, I'm sure you're gonna have success in the career. So thanks for that. Yassine says sorry for the long answer. No, not at all, not at all. It's good to hear that background, right? And just take up whatever time you need. But I appreciate you being here. So guys, I'm gonna have to wrap up here in a little bit because I have a meeting in 15 minutes. I'm meeting on Thursday. I'm gonna bring in a special guest, another special interview like I've been doing every Thursday in August. But on Tuesdays is when I usually meet with them to do like a technical test, make sure their camera works and all that. So I have that meeting in 15 minutes. So I may have to go for that. Abdelaziz Tricky. Abdelaziz, I think this is your first time joining us. I don't think I've seen you. Let us know where you're from. Let us know where you're from, okay? We always ask people to introduce themselves. Ahab says, okay, totally understandable. Love these kinds of question prompts. Yeah, Ahab, I hope that they, one, I thank you for your understanding, right? I don't want to bias the conversation. And two, yeah, I think these questions are good to look at. Again, not just so that you guys can see like the level you need to be at when you go apply to these firms, but it's good to have the conversation. So I'm glad you're enjoying that. And I have 3 more after this, so I'm gonna go ahead and share those with the chat as we go along. But yeah, I think it'll be fun. Ahab also says, oh, I know ML. That was me. That was me when I first started computer science. LOL. Oh boy, I was super wrong, and I'm only a year in. Yeah, Ahab. Yeah, like I said, I'm always 110% cautious of people who tell me that. I'm gonna get a button that does that, because I would love to have, over here, like in the corner, I want to have that guy pop out. That guy pop out. You sure about that? You sure about that? Because come on, you can't say those things. You can't say that. When you tell me those things, you tell me you know nothing about data science, and I put your resume at the bottom of the pile. Okay, guys? If you want real talk, that's real talk. I immediately blow you off as soon as you tell me that. Prajwal, good welcome. Hello, Dennis. I'm starting new in data science domain and aim to become a data scientist. And sometimes I fear that I have started late and lacking behind. Any advice to build a great portfolio? Prajwal, we're not trying to build portfolios. We're trying to build our skills, right? I mean, are you trying to land a job, or are you trying to become a data science professional? There's a difference, right? Like, nobody says, I'm going to start, I want to be a plastic surgeon, so I have to go out and build a portfolio of before and after pictures of people that I've operated on. Like, nobody says that, right? You go out and you learn how to be a doctor, and then you learn how to be a surgeon, and then you learn how to be a plastic surgeon, right? So don't try to build a portfolio, try to build the skills to become a professional in the field. Everything else will take care of itself after that. Like I've said before, the best way to pass the data scientist interview is to actually be a data scientist. That's all there is to it, right? So take a couple steps back. Why are you doing this? Why data science? And then learn the why and the how. Okay? So I hope that helps. Gives you a couple things to think about. Okay? All right, guys. So I think I'm going to have to wrap up here. I have another meeting in a few minutes, but thank you so much for spending time with me. Really great questions today. This is what I love about the chat, that the questions can go anywhere, right? You guys, we were talking about just a variety of things in the past 2 weeks. So really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for supporting my content. A big welcome to all the new people. You know, I know that I've been growing a lot, so thanks a lot for being here. I stream every day, 1500 GMT. Take care of yourselves and take care of your families, and I'll see you next time.